Good morning, I'm Dr. Marianne Gale from New South Wales Health with the COVID-19 update for today, Sunday, the 28th of November. In New South Wales in the 24 hours till 8 p.m. last night, there were 185 COVID-19 cases reported and more than 54,000 tests reported. Across New South Wales, 94.5% of people aged 16 years and over have received a first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and 92.4% of people are now fully vaccinated. Of people aged 12 to 15 years, 81.3% have received a first dose of a COVID vaccine, and 76.5% of people are fully vaccinated. Currently in hospital, there are 165 COVID-19 cases admitted, with 24 people in intensive care, 9 of whom require ventilation. Of the people in ICU, 21 are not vaccinated, 1 person has received 1 dose of a COVID vaccine, and 2 people have received 2 doses of a COVID vaccine. In terms of our sewage surveillance program, fragments have been detected in the following areas where we are currently unaware of cases. They are Cobar, Smithtown and Gladstone. So if you live in those areas, please be vigilant for symptoms. Please come forward for testing. I'd like to now turn just with some of the international developments and implications for people arriving in New South Wales. Testing on arrival has confirmed that 2 passengers who arrived in Sydney from Southern Africa on Saturday, November 27, have tested positive for COVID-19. Urgent genomic sequencing is underway to determine if those individuals have been infected by the new Omicron B11529 variant of concern. The passengers arrived on Qatar Airways flight QR908 from Doha to Sydney, which landed around 7 p.m. yesterday, Saturday the 27th. 14 passengers who arrived on board this Qatar Airways flight are from one of the 9 southern African countries of concern, and they are South Africa, Lesotho, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Namibia, Eswatini, Malawi and the Seychelles. These passengers have been transported to the special health accommodation where they will undertake 14 days quarantine. New South Wales Health has been contacting other passengers on the flight who are considered close contacts to request that they get tested immediately and self-isolate for 14 days. In line with Commonwealth measures, all travellers arriving in New South Wales who have been in one of those 9 southern African countries during the 14-day period before their arrival in New South Wales must enter hotel quarantine for 14 days, irrespective of their vaccination status. All travellers who have been to any other overseas country during the 14 days prior to their arrival in New South Wales must travel directly to their place of residence or accommodation and isolate for 72 hours pending further health advice. It's also very important that all returning travellers from overseas get tested on their first day back, that is within the first 24 hours of their arrival in New South Wales. I'd also like to remind anyone who has already arrived in New South Wales and has been in one of the 9 African countries within the previous 14 days that they must immediately get tested and isolate for 14 days. And I do encourage them and ask them to please call New South Wales Health for advice on 1800 943 553. As per previous guidance and previous practice, all unvaccinated travellers from any overseas country will continue to enter hotel quarantine. So important for us to note these recent changes in relation to international travel, and I encourage anyone who's recently returned from overseas and anyone in the community who's been in contact with someone from overseas or anyone in your family, to please make sure that they are aware of this updated New South Wales health advice and to please follow it. So thank you again, everybody, for your continued efforts to get vaccinated and to come forward for testing if you have even the mildest of symptoms. Thank you.